Hello, I'm Nitya and I'm a member of the Hermit Social Club. Today I'm here to show you how to easily use Fusion 360 and some tips and tricks. First off, what is Fusion 360? Fusion 360 is a CAD software in which you can make so many designs. CAD stands for Computer Aided Design. It is basically a tool that robotics teams, engineers, or anyone who wants to design something use to plan out the measurements, different features, and more. So first off, how do I create a project and organize my folders? This is pretty easy. Just click this button and you will have a new project in which you can name the file anything you want. Then you're going to go to a new folder and you're going to create the folder for whatever you want to use it for. There are different ways you can view this panel over here. If having it as a grid bothers you, you can also view it as a list. And now to the actual CAD. Okay, so first things first, the first thing you want to do when you're creating CAD is to save the file so that if you ever exit out, you'll have it saved. And you can also, if you save a file, you can also upload stuff onto the thing, as where if you did not save the file, you can't do that. So there are many different ways to view CAD. You have the view cube in the top right corner, which allows you to view the CAD in different ways. And you also have this panel right here. Orbit allows you to freely move the CAD wherever you want. Pan allows you to move the CAD around. And here is viewport. So basically what this does is if you click here, it allows you to have multiple views of your CAD if you ever wanted to see it like that. You can also create a team and collaborators, but you can't restrict who can see the files, so be careful with that. And when you are starting CAD and still getting used to finding all the tools, one helpful command is S. S leads you to design shortcuts, which allows you to easily search up whatever shortcut you need to use or whatever tool you need to use. So we will review that later on in the video when we go over these tools up here. Up in the left-hand corner, you have this tab that says Design. This basically changes the type of workspace you're working in. So Design Workspace, a generative design workspace, a render, which basically creates a realistic version of the drawing that you made, an animation, which creates animations of how the design should be assembled, a simulation, and a manufacture. Animations are helpful when you're trying to describe how you built your design. Renders are useful if you want to see how your design would look in real life, and design is what we will be using the most. So first things first, we need to create a sketch. To create a sketch, you go right here and you choose the type of view or the grid you want. I'm just going to click the origin. So there are many different things that you can do now that you've created a sketch. You can choose different shapes. So you can create a line, which if you create a line, you can connect them and you can let's say create a triangle. You can also create a 2-point rectangle. And if you go here, it'll also tell you different ways you can create your rectangle. So you can choose 3-point rectangle, 2-point rectangle, and center rectangle. A center rectangle is basically the same thing except for you're creating your rectangle from the middle. Okay, so we have all these different types of shapes that we can create, but what if we want them to be 3-dimensional? This is where we use extrude. An easy way to use the extrude key is just to press the letter E and it will immediately take you to extrude. Then you click the items that you would like to extrude and you either enter in the measurements that you want to extrude them, or you use this arrow here and you drag it if you don't need an exact measurement. Also, another important thing while we have two bodies is that one thing that is important to know is the difference between a body and a component. If you wanted to join two bodies together, which can be done using the joint key, is you can't join two bodies together. You can only join two components together. So if you wanted to do that, you go here to your bodies, and as you can see, we have these two bodies here, and you can create a component from the bodies. And then you can just rename it to whatever your body is. So, and then now we can join our bodies together. Here. Okay. So if you want to know any shortcuts with how to use the shapes or anything like that, to create a 2-point rectangle, you can use the shortcut R. To create a line, you can use the shortcut L. And to create a circle, you can use the shortcut C. Okay, I think we can stop there for now. Okay, so we created the bodies and then we converted them to components, right? Well, what if you have a lot of bodies and you don't want to do that? Then you can go to Assemble and click New Component, and it'll give you all this information here, and you can create your new component rather than creating a body and then converting it to a component. So right here, if you wanted to focus on one specific component at a time, you can go right here and select these different tabs. This allows you to focus on a few different components at a time. Now, if you want to focus on all the components or the whole design, then you can click this button. So while we're talking about new components and joints, there's also something called an as-built joint. So what if you already assembled your whole robot and let's just say you just dragged everything in place instead of joining everything together? Since everything would be connected already and look in unison, you could use an as-built joint to connect everything together so that when you drag your mouse, the whole drawing won't just split apart. Now, modify is something where you can hollow out your design, split it, scale it to different sizes. There are a bunch of stuff that you can do with this tab. So what is a shell? A shell basically hollows out your design. So you type in the thickness that you want to hollow out your design, and it will do that for you. For example, if I wanted to hollow out my design, let's say 2 inches, then it will not let me do that because it's too big. Let's say I wanted to do it 0.25 inches, then it would hollow out my design like that. If I, let's say, wanted to scale my design and make it a different size, then could click the design you want to scale, and you could either make it bigger or make it smaller. What if you want to know the measurements of your design because you want to change the measurements, or you forgot how big your design was and want to see the measurements again? You go to inspect and you click measure, and then you click the 2 points that you want to measure in between, and it will tell you how big they are. So in this case, this is 50 millimeters. Okay, so the last thing we'll be talking about today is how to insert your own downloaded component into Fusion 360. This is pretty simple. You just go onto the website that you want to download something from. You type in the thing that you need. So let's say I needed this channel. Then you would go down to the place where it says CAD. You'd download that step file. Then you'd go back to Fusion 360. Then you would upload and select the file that you need. So now you're gonna upload this like 1 or 2 minutes, so be patient.
2,000 years later.
Okay, so now that it's uploaded, you are going to go to whatever thing you need. It's going to show up right here, and you're going to click Insert into Current Design. So I'm going to insert this into my current design, and because the measurements of whatever I made just now are 50 millimeters by 40 millimeters, it's going to be really big. This channel is going to be really big compared to this, as you can see. So you could either scale this, or if you just want it that size, you can keep it like that. But if you wanted to, you could take this, you could scale. So now you can make this bigger to your liking. And as obviously, the channel is definitely not in the right place. We don't want it in that weird position that it is right now. So if you wanted to move this component, then you could you're gonna click on the part, then you're gonna left click, and it's going to have something called move copy with these arrows, and it's going to allow you to move the component to whatever area that you wanted it in. So let's say I wanted my component here. Okay. Then I would click OK. And let's say I just wanted it right there, like right there in the middle, maybe just somewhere on the block. Then I would put join, capture position. Then I would take 1 point and connect it to the top. And there it is, right in the middle of the block. If you wanted to see it easier. From right position, it would be here. And that's all for this video. Thank you. Stay tuned for the next video.